Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the biggest happy hour in a half an hour. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Paul Robertson. So again, this is where the backbeats meets the spirits, and hopefully everybody's having a great Friday, TGIF, and enjoying and getting ready for the weekend here. So again, thanks for joining us here on a Friday night at 8 p.m. every Friday on the dial, or whatever it's called nowadays. I don't think there's any dials anymore, right? So I think before we get into all the things we're going to have to cover this for this show, is first off is what we need to do is we need to go ahead and get ourselves a drink going on and finish up. So I've already kind of started making some of my cocktail here, and what I've got is Club Tiki Blue Hawaii, and we've added some orange juice in here, and now do just a little bit of a mix there, a little bit of a stir with my bibbity bobbity boo. And there we go. Right. Again, most of the time you won't need to mix it if it's already something with a carbonation, so forth, to let the bubbles do its thing. So, all right. Anyway, so here's cheers to our cocktail, and let's kick this weekend off here. Cheers, everybody. All right. Oh, that's actually really good. So Blue Hawaii with some OJ. And I was just recently traveling, and I asked the server if the orange juice was made from Florida, and they said, and I said if it wasn't, then I don't want any. So again, we got to represent the FLA there. So good old Florida orange juice, right? So anyway, so again, cheers. So let's get right to it. We got a lot to cover. Talking about our past guests this week, upcoming guests, all the things that we got going on, and just a whole hill of stuff that's here. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. But before we get into our past and present and future and so forth guests on the podcast, let's go ahead and kick us off with our first round of, we're going to read these 3 times, beginning, middle, and end of the show here tonight, of our game. And you all know what it's called. What the Florida? All right, so let's go ahead and let's read our card here. Let's see what our card is, or what the Florida card is for this Friday. So let's see. Let me just make sure that I didn't mix it up. Okay, so here we go. What is the craziest thing you'd do in a limo? So I guess it's saying that you would do in a limo. Okay, so what is the craziest thing you would do in a limo? Again, for those that can't hear me very well, there is the question. We'll recap. We'll say that question again there in a little bit here in the middle, and then we'll say it one more time. So 3 times. Again, remember, go ahead and put your comment to this answer over in the Facebook group, the Drums Run Facebook group. I love some of the responses from last week's about the question about the skeletons in the closet. So again, comment in the group there. And remember, post some stories, rums related things, cocktails, all sorts of things for the community there, and trying to grow our community there to kind of get a good cross pollination of drummers and rummers and everybody in between. And also, we don't have to not forget our giveaway. I've got to announce the winner for our giveaway for our February top contributor to the Facebook group here, and I'll announce that here shortly. But also for March is portions of our giveaway is thank you to Rummy Club for contributing to part of our giveaway. So they provided a hat and a shirt. And again, if you've listened to our very first podcast for March, this is Women's History Month. I know this week we just had International Women's Day on Tuesday. So the first episode of the month was with Judith DeBee, and she is the co-owner, and distiller of Rummy Club, a rum company distillery out of Amsterdam, Netherlands. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and, like I said, recap our podcast for this past week. So, hopefully, I know a couple weeks ago, if you may have seen and tuned in, we actually did a live podcast. I went back and tempted fate again, as I've tried to steer away from doing live podcasts just due to always having concerns about technical difficulties. But I think it went really well. And over on YouTube, about a week or so ago, we had on Sarah Matuk. Matuk. I was trying to pronounce it right. So hopefully I'm getting better, Sarah, if you're watching. So if you had checked in, that was the podcast that dropped this week over on Tuesday, and it was great. Again, it was a live episode that we taped, and she sung 3 of her songs live. And so I'd advise you to check out more. Check out her on YouTube. Check on Instagram. Again, independent singer songwriter, got a soulful voice. That's what she goes by, Soulful Sarah. And reason why did we have her on the podcast? Well, the whole story. If you've been listening and checking out all the other conversations and happy hours and podcasts and etc. But Sarah has a song she wrote was called Rum. And again, of course, what better song what better thing to sing about, right? So actually just the other day we were just talking about, actually I realized the lyrics actually included a line about drums and rums in it. So coincident, fate, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, so check out that podcast, great song. Check it out and download all of her tracks there. I said she's just got a great voice. If you're a big fan of an Amy Winehouse kind of vibe, Sarah's just got just an awesome voice, and she works with a lot of other artists there, collaborate to help put some tracks to her music and her lyrics and so forth. So check it out. Available on all places you can download the podcast. And again, like I said, if you want to watch the video version of it, it's over on our YouTube channel. So check it out there. We had a great time. It was really interactive with the chat, answering questions. So I love it when I do this, when people can help me fill in the if I didn't do my homework and put some questions on what I want to ask the guest. The chat is always a great place to help fill in some of those things. But yeah, it was great. So that was our guest this past week. And also, like I said, that was guest number 2 for our month for Women's History Month. And then coming up this next week, which will be next Tuesday, we'll be with Kira. I'm probably also pronouncing it wrong, but I'll get her to correct me on the pronunciation. But she's a drummer based out of the UK, and so again, she's a drummer. She teaches. She's a mom, and so she juggles many things there, and she also travels to and performs with the band the Penelopes. So I'm not familiar with them, but I started checking them out. So definitely, it's a very cool 80s kind of dance pop kind of stuff. I'll have to ask her on the podcast, what would she say that their best reference to it is. But yeah, so she's also over on Instagram there. So I just love to talk to some of the drummers. Since a lot of folks are saying that, asking that I hardly even talk about drums anymore, and that's not true. I think actually total of all the podcasts since we started, we still have more drummers on the podcast than we do actually drummers. So again, I still have love for drummers. Don't worry. We've got some, like I've told you in the last show, we've got some really good shows coming up and guests coming up who are actually drummers too. So that's our current podcast for the week, and next one that's coming up there to look out for. We'll drop then the following Tuesday with Kira. So all right, so I think we've covered the podcast there. Don't forget to, when you check out the podcast, you can also now subscribe. I'm sorry, rate over on Spotify now. So like you can with Apple Podcast, you can do rate, review, and then they call it follow now. They don't do subscribe anymore, but follow. But that kind of stuff definitely helps podcasters. That's how advertisers look at it. That's how they rank to see how popular they are, how if it's worthy advertising and so on and so forth. So if you listen to the podcast, please give us a follow, a comment, a review, a rating. Again, that helps us out a lot. So, and again, if you listen on other places too, like Pandora or iHeartRadio or wherever else you listen to it, including also Facebook Live or Facebook on the mobile app. So you can also listen to the podcast now just right in there. But I'm hearing that even TikTok is getting ready to jump in there too. So I think everyone's all the big companies are getting ready to jump into a lot more podcast shows and so forth. So who knows? Maybe somebody will pay me a lot of money to come and be a podcast full time. So, but I guess a boy can dream. So, all right. So anyway, so that's all of our what we got going on in the podcast world things. Again, let me go ahead and read our question again, just for the folks that may have just been coming in late. Shame on you if you just showed up late, but I'm glad you're here. All right, so the question is for what the Florida is. I'll go and play a little intro music again just to... All right, there's a little intro music for what the Florida. All right, so what is the craziest thing you would do in a limo? Again, if you can't hear me, I'm going to show you on the screen there. What's the craziest thing you would do in a limo? All right, so there's a second time, one more time coming up. So let's see. We also talked about, we had coming up, I said we got to announce our giveaway for last month. And so also what was cool is I just saw the other day was the article in a press release for Rock Sound Rum's Guinness Book of World Record. So you may start seeing it on news articles popping up about the daiquiri that broke the world record at 110 gallons. So really cool that I was part of it. I talked about that last week in our recap show, our trip to Austin. And so really excited for those guys. And so like I said, just keep tuned to what they got coming up here. And I think they'll be here soon in Florida as well also. So, all right, so let me have another quick drink. I've been talking a lot. All right, so again, thank you for tuning in. So, let's get to the story here for our Florida man. Okay, so before I play the clip, I just want to give a little bit of backstory here. So, you always see these police chases of people trying to flee when a police officer is trying to pull them over or something happens and so forth. But this one is where else but Florida. That's why we call it the Florida man. And this was out of Manatee County. So this is just, if you're not familiar with Florida at all, this is just south of Tampa on the west coast of Florida to kind of give you some geographic reference. And so the Manatee County deputies had their eyes in the sky on one man tried to flee and hide from them early Thursday morning. So I guess this was last week, not yesterday, but last Thursday. Around 1 a.m., patrol deputies spotted a truck without headlights driving on the wrong side of the road on Harrison Ranch Boulevard. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna flag you. If you're been having too many drinks, that's probably gonna get you in trouble if you drive with no headlights on, especially at 1 o'clock in the morning. They said when they attempted to a traffic stop, the driver, later identified as, well, we'll remove his name to protect the innocent, even though he really wasn't innocent, but as you'll see in the video, the sheriff's office helicopter followed the truck as it drove through a fence at the Buffalo Creek Golf Course. So tell me, has anybody in the chat ever been at that golf course? So the truck traveled through the course and entered a shallow pond. So this guy's fleeing, drives his truck on the golf course. That's when they said the person exited the truck, waded through the water into nearby brush and trees, attempted to hide from the deputies. However, the deputy said their aviation unit was watching from above, directing deputies on the ground. So you can never run from the eyes in the sky, right? So they found him and arrested him. They said he was fleeing because he thought he had a warrant for his arrest. Okay, so probably not a good guy to begin with. But the deputies found no active warrant. So, okay. So this is one of those, I think I'm in trouble. I think I've got something going on, but really I don't. So again, if he didn't flee, he probably would have just gotten a DUI and obviously driving no headlights. So again, because he couldn't even remember if he had a warrant or not. I don't know. So anyway, so the Manatee County deputy said that he was driving with a suspended license. Okay, that's not good. And now he faces charges of fleeing to elude an officer and criminal mischief. All right, so yes, so good old criminal mischief, right? So again, I don't know. I guess everyone freaks out, especially when you get pulled over or you're thinking you did something wrong, especially if you're 1 o'clock in the morning. Anything that happens after midnight, and they say, right, nothing good ever happens after midnight. So, all right, so here's the clip of our Florida man for tonight, and here we go. Okay, now this is video footage from the Manatee County Sheriff's Department here. So here we go.
The truck is continuing onto the golf course itself, driving northbound into the
All right, so you can see there's the truck, and there's a helicopter flying above with infrared, and the guy's just cruising down through the golf course. And you know, I'm sure we all probably done all those bouncing around in golf carts and hit those bumps and hit those hills, right? And driving around, crossing over, right? So again, this guy's I guess trying to play through. I think maybe. Oh, here he goes. Oh man, now you always the water hazards, man. They always get you, right? So this is what happened. He goes and maybe he couldn't see. I don't know, but now he's trying to flee further into the woods there with that pond. Now apparently there's also a passenger in the vehicle that hasn't left the vehicle. So here's him fleeing in the woods, and then here's now the deputies closing in on him. And again, because infrared, the helicopter can tell them exactly where he's at. So, and there he goes. They got their man. So that guy's gonna be spending some time in a pokey. That's a terrible way to spend your day, your evening. Now you're probably because you're wet clothes, and now this is what you got to deal with. So again, that is our Florida man, and as you see there, right on all the police cars on the golf course. I'm sure when they showed up the next day to go golfing, the golfers probably had to repair some of that golf course, especially with all those tire marks and police cars chasing after that guy. So there's our Florida man. So again, you guys watch Cops. You know they always get their man or person, I guess I should say. So yep. So there was our Florida man. He's trying to play through on the golf course there, and he gets stuck in the water hazard. So congratulations there, sir. Anyway, so all right. So we've covered our story, our Florida man story. We're going to go ahead and do our third part here of our what the Florida question again. I'll play our little intro screen there. All right, so here we go. So what the Florida question? This is the last time I'm going to ask it and then show it, and then you all go post your answers over in the group. What is the craziest thing you would do in a limo? You would do in a limo. So there you go. So what's the craziest thing? So now I know it's asking you what you would do, but I'll take the answers if what maybe the craziest thing you've already have done. So if you've already done some crazy, you know what, in a limo, I'll take that answer too. So if it's not that what you would do in like a future tense, but if you already have done it in the past tense, then I want to hear it. Unless you think you do something even better or more crazier in the limo in the future. So again, just housekeeping here too. So we'll go ahead and now we're going to get into we'll go ahead and show and announce what our giveaway was. But real quick, again, if you haven't check out Club Tiki, clubtikico.com. And again, if you buy 2 4-packs, you get free shipping. And then also we're an affiliate, so we get a little something from sales using our promo code Drums and Rums, DRUMSAND RUMS. But that's pretty easy to remember. I think you all should get. So again, order some stuff. Again, great company. They got some new products coming out here in the next few months. A couple new flavors. So yeah, a couple of new cocktails in a can. So go check it out. 7.5% cocktail in a can. So let's go. All right, so let's see what we got here. Let me just go move some things around here, because I know we need a little bit more space to work. All right. So what we have here is, all right. Like I said, I'm trying not to make a mess. I'm gonna go ahead and move our Rummy Club stuff out of the way. All right, so I think again, if you've been watching the happy hour, happy hour over the last few weeks or all of February, you should know what the giveaway was. Again, our sponsor main sponsor was Club Tiki. Yeah, so they've provided a hat. They provided 2 4-packs. So one of it is the Pina Colada. The other one is our Blue Hawaii. And then we have some tiki, since we got a tiki theme going on here. We've got our tiki bottle, our little hula skirt, the little coconut bra, little dash hula girl for the dash. Also, I want to thank Pleasure Tiki for throwing in a shirt there. So again, that's their design, Pleasure Tiki, here in Tequesta, Florida. So check them out. They got a lot of cool tiki items, and I think I talked about the shirt that they helped me pick out for the tiki event. Oh, and there you go. I forgot where I was trying to find. And a couple little tiki glasses, shot glasses there. There's another one. And so I think that's it. So I've got 2 of those. And our top contributor for February, it was close. I mean, you guys are, some of you are really contributing, putting a lot of cool stuff in there, stories. Some of our rummers are definitely even throwing some drum stories in there. I think there was a couple of stories about like a Neil Peart story, and obviously was a lot of cocktail recipes stories as well posted in there too. But I want to congratulate Trevor Rose again. He's a little bit again, welcome again. I've met him over on a couple other stuff, that a couple other shows of Just Drinking guys. So their guys are on Wednesday nights. They do a longer episode of their review where they do a little bit more chat and talking to folks in the chat, and going through and talking about some of their topics and so forth. But I kind of met Trevor over there, and also Steve the Barman show on every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern time here in the U.S., but he's based out of the U.K., so I think it's maybe 8 o'clock at night, I think. And so Trevor's very active also there. So yeah, so Trevor's dropping a lot of great drink recipes, and I really got to get into start trying to make some of these tiki cocktails. I've got the book. I just haven't had time to kind of sit down, and some of those recipes and the ingredients in those recipes, I've got to find how to get my hands on some of that stuff. So I haven't really gotten into a whole lot of tiki cocktail making yet. So maybe that should be, I start doing maybe next month, maybe start making on the Friday night shows, take a tiki cocktail each Friday night to make on the show. So again, congratulations to Trevor for winning February's top contributor to the Facebook group. So again, we got some prizes to give away as your top contributor. Grow this group, grow our group, share. As you saw, hopefully you saw this week that I posted and shared a couple stories there for some of our alums who will be judges in the Hit Like a Girl competition. And that's a drum competition for women from all ages, from kids to, how do I say this and not come off yes, not kids. Kids to not kids, adults, I guess. Maybe that's the best way. I try to be safe about not, saying anything that would offend anybody. But yeah, so there's a lot of folks there that are Drums and Rums alums and who are also judges. So hopefully you saw some of those posts in there too that I put in the chat and so forth. So again, contribute. Again, share some stuff that you think folks are going to find interesting. Things that are, maybe helpful. Again, we got a very cross group. Try to maybe educate bring some of our drummers into the world of rum, and vice versa too. If you're a drummer trying to, expose or want to share some of your music into to some of the rummers and other folks, I know it's a mix of kind of some interesting things, drums and rums, but I think it's a kind of a cool little eclectic community of those type of two subjects. So, but yeah. So again, congratulations, Trevor. So keep up. I know you're, I said you're very active in the group there. I know a lot of other folks there. I know, Mike and Siri, Jami, and I know I'm missing a few other folks there, but jump on in, everybody. Again, every month we see who the top fan or top contributor is in the group, and you can win some free stuff. So I think I've hit everything that we needed to hit on. We've talked about our podcast for this week. We've talked about the podcast coming up for next week. And then again, we've even got a couple more guests for the rest of the month there. And we're also coming up really close. I think it's going to be like end of May, beginning of June, we'll be hitting 100th episode. So I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on what we should do, some ideas. I have some ideas. I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be more of an in-person podcast for, celebration. I mean, 100th episode's a pretty big milestone there. So I've got some ideas on what I have a thought, but again, I'm interested in, hearing what you guys, want to say, hey, for 100th episode, maybe do this or this or this. So again, I'm open to suggestions. But again, we gotta make it big, right? So then again, that's a big milestone there. And next month will be, or no, actually this month will be a full 2 years that we've been doing the whole podcast there. Again, the very first one, episode 1, was before the lockdown happened, and then thus changed how we all know what the world was like the last 2 years. So I'm really glad that I was able to stick through it, and you all have been very encouraging and find me entertaining and I guess interesting. Yes, that's why I try to find certain guests that are, may be kind of may not be the right fit for what we're trying to do here, but again, if you got an interesting story, that's what I'm always kind of I find interesting. So, but anyway, so with that being said, I think we hit all of our marks here. We've played our game of What the Florida, and that's it. We did it 3 times. Post your response over in the Facebook group. Make sure you do that, and maybe sure to spread the word. I think we're working on some new merch, some new designs, some new logos and stuff. We still have obviously our shirts for our alums that we still give away to any of our Drums and Rums alums. But we will have some new merch and designs coming up here that I'm working on. And I also I just haven't had the time yet, but I have a huge thing to show that's going to enhance the bar area here. So more to come on that. I don't want to kind of say too much more, but I'm really excited about it. But again, like I said, I haven't even taken it out of the box yet because I want to have the right amount of time to digest and to take some videos and pictures of like an unboxing and so forth. So I'm really looking forward to this, which what hopefully you all enjoy as well too. So again, I believe it's going to enhance our little setup that we have here. So again, hopefully, I'll have a great weekend. Looks like it's going to be a little bit warm here in Florida for us. Sorry for those of you tuning in that are still experiencing another round of winter, getting, I think, snow again. For us here in Florida, I think it's going to be probably mid 80s. So hate to rub it in, but come on down and visit us. It's Florida's always open. So again, come on down, visit. Maybe you can be live in person on the happy hour. That would be really cool. So we don't, have live guests every so often. So again, this is Paul, and we're right at almost about a half an hour there. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and have a great weekend. And we'll see you next Friday. So we'll see you in 7 days. All right. So have a great Friday. And don't forget, go and check out the podcast, rate, review, and follow. And I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks all. Have a great night.